Ever wonder why some movies become instant blockbusters, why one business skyrockets while another collapses, or why that one song gets stuck in your head for weeks? It feels like magic. But it's not. It's about finding the real ingredients that make the difference. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the biggest secrets in AI, how to separate what really matters from all the background noise. And the surprising key? Cookies. Yep. Understanding what makes the perfect cookie just might be the best way to finally understand how AI finds patterns that change the world. So don't miss this. If you want to know how pros cut through the chaos and find the true secret sauce of AI, you've got to hear this one. Hit play, listen all the way through, and by the end you'll never look at magic results the same way again. Let's get started.
All right, let's just jump right in. You know how we're always looking for that one thing, that secret sauce, that magic key that makes something work? Well, how do we actually find it? I mean, really think about it for a second. What makes a movie a total blockbuster? How does one business just take off while another one flops? Or what about a song you just can't get out of your head? It can seriously feel like a complete mystery.
But here's the thing, it's not magic. Not at all. It's really about cutting through all the noise to find the few things that are actually making the difference. And today, we're going to break down how the pros do it using, well, the perfect analogy.
Yep, you heard that right. We are going on a quest for the perfect cookie. Because believe it or not, understanding how to bake the world's best cookie is pretty much the key to unlocking a really powerful idea. So here's the deal. In our little quest, all the ingredients, the flour, the sugar, the chocolate chips, those are what experts call predictors. And that final, warm, gooey, delicious cookie, that's our outcome. Our entire mission, plain and simple, is to figure out which ingredients, which predictors, matter the most for getting that perfect outcome.
So where do we start? Well, let's begin with the most basic way you could possibly do this. Picture yourself in the kitchen. You decide you're just going to test every single ingredient, one by one, to see how important it is.
It's a pretty straightforward question, right? We've all got a hunch that sugar is going to be pretty important. So how would you actually measure that?
Well, we could literally just draw a chart. We bake a whole bunch of cookies, each with a different amount of sugar, and we rate how delicious they are. And what you see here shows a simple truth. As the sugar amount goes up, the deliciousness score goes up. When you see a straight line like that, you know you're onto something. This is basically what the data pros call a correlation.
And for simple situations just like this one, the source material tells us this one-at-a-time approach works great. When the connection is that obvious, you don't need a super fancy tool to spot it.
Okay, but what about choices that aren't about more or less, but more like this or that? Like, should we use real butter or margarine? We can do another simple test. We just bake one batch with butter, one with margarine, and see which batch, on average, is tastier. If the butter cookies are the clear winner every time, well, we've found another important ingredient. Easy enough.
But, and this is a huge but, what happens when the recipe starts to get a little more complicated? This is where our simple one-by-one testing method can get us into some serious trouble.
Okay, check this out. Brown sugar is pretty much just regular white sugar with some molasses mixed in, right? So if we test them separately, our simple test might shout, hey, brown sugar is super important. And then also, whoa, molasses is super important too. We might think we need both, when in reality, they're kind of redundant. They're doing the same job.
And it gets even trickier. What about secret partnerships between ingredients? Take baking soda. By itself, it doesn't really add much flavor. A simple test would probably say, it's not important. But when you combine it with something acidic, like what's in brown sugar, bam, you get that perfect chemical reaction, that amazing chewy texture. They only work their magic as a team.
And the source material just hits the nail on the head here. It says that a simple approach, just looking at one thing at a time, is completely blind to these kinds of team-ups. So what's the takeaway? We need better tools. We need the secrets of the master bakers. So let's get into those pro techniques. It is time to learn the secrets, the methods that can spot these tricky relationships and find the ingredients that truly matter, no matter how they're hiding.
Our first pro technique is it's genius, and it's so simple when you think about it. We're going to call it the neighborly taste test. Now, it has a fancy name, the relief algorithm, but honestly, the idea is something anyone can get.
So how does this so-called taste test actually work? Okay, imagine you just randomly grab one of your amazing cookies. Then you find its closest neighbor that was also amazing. And you find its closest neighbor that was a total dud. You keep doing this, and if one ingredient, say using dark chocolate chips instead of milk chocolate, is consistently the key difference between the good pairs and the bad pairs, well, ding ding ding, it gets a high importance score. It's just a really smart way to find what separates the winners from the losers.
Right, but what if the relationship isn't a straight line or a simple team-up? What if it's just bizarre? For that, we need to bring in the heavy hitter. We need the pattern super detector. The experts call it MIC, or the Maximal Information Coefficient. And the way this thing works is just incredible. Imagine you're throwing thousands of different grids, or nets, over all your cookie data. Some nets have big squares, some have tiny squares, some are wide, some are tall. This tool tries every kind of net imaginable to see if it can catch any kind of pattern between an ingredient and the final cookie. It's like the ultimate detective for finding those hidden connections nobody else can see.
Now, this has been a really fun and I hope kinda delicious analogy, but these techniques aren't just for baking, not by a long shot. They're used everywhere, every day to solve some of the most important problems we face.
So when you boil it all down, the real secret ingredient we've been looking for isn't an ingredient at all. It's the method. It's about having the right tools to separate what's important from what's just noise, to find the things that actually move the needle.
Think about it. This is how doctors can pinpoint the most critical symptom to figure out what's wrong. It's how a company discovers that one feature in their app that customers absolutely love and can't live without. And honestly, it's how all of us can learn to spot the key factors that lead to better results in our own lives.
So I'm going to leave you with one final question. When you look at all the ingredients that go into your day, sleep, coffee, exercise, who you talk to, what do you think is the single most important predictor for making it a truly great day? Let that one bake for a while.
Congrats. You made it to the end of this episode. That already puts you way ahead of the curve. This was just one episode of our playlist, AI Explained to Your Grandma, where we turn complicated AI into simple, clear stories anyone can understand. If you enjoyed this, don't stop here. Check out the next episode in the playlist to keep building your AI intuition. Like this video so more people can join the journey. Share it with someone who thinks AI is too complicated. And subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Remember, AI is shaping your world every day. The only question is, do you want to just use it or really understand it? See you in the next episode.